Hello, managers, and welcome to the 2016 BROhio Show, episode 5, entitled Clipboard Jesus is Down. So, those of you who don't know Charlie Whitehurst, who's the Browns' fourth quarterback this season, Charlie Whitehurst is nicknamed Clipboard Jesus, and so he got injured, and now the Browns are on to fifth-string quarterbacks. But as well as Whitehurst injury, the Clipboard Jesus is Down title also refers to the crazy non-prediction based scoring that we've been seeing throughout the season. And our special guest will discuss that a little bit during the interview today. But it is wild that 4 people who were projected to lose ended up winning this week. And on top of that, players are just going off left and right, and a lot of studs are not reaching their value. So it is a crazy season for fantasy, but that's what it's all about. So special announcement coming up in 2 weeks. It'll be week 7, which is halfway through the regular season of fantasy. And I'm going to be doing a special mid-season episode of the BROhio Show, and I'm going to reach out to every single manager just to record some really quick responses, like on their phones, and then I'm going to package them all together into like some really fun to watch video here in the next 2 weeks. So be looking out for those texts and try to be as comedic as possible, because that's what people like to see. Moving on to the tits. That was our only announcement. We have 3 trades this week, which is our highest number of trades in 1 week yet. And crazy enough, they're all the same manager. So Giselle over Tom's Face, Nathan's team, he made a lot of moves this week, 3 different trades that I'll go through. So his team is not looking anything like the team we saw before. The first trade with me, Alan Hearns and the Eagles for Zach Ertz and the Cardinals. So I'm getting the Cardinals D and Zach Ertz, which helps me get some tight end depth, and Nathan's getting the Eagles D, maybe a little better defensive strength there for Nathan. Nathan gave Mark Ingram and Wendell Smallwood to Justin. I'm sure Justin liked getting Smallwood there. In return, Justin gave Melvin Gordon and Tajay Sharp to Nathan. So Gordon is one of the only 2 running backs or receivers to have a touchdown every week. So that's a high-value player, but it kind of is up to speculation as to if Gordon can continue that value throughout the rest of the season. And then the final trade with Nathan and Zach. Nathan gave Spencer Ware and Alan Hearns to Zach in return for Latavius Murray. It's our first 2-for-1 this season, and it's a really cool one because Spencer Ware, a backup, Nathan was using him streaming him as a main running back, and now Zach has him as a handcuffed for Charles, and we'll see how Charles is when he comes back. It might end up where could be an improvement. Who knows? Moving on to the injury table, just going through the watch list, we have Jay Cutler, Cody Kessler, Josh McCown, Cam Newton, Carson Palmer, Tony Romo, Trevor Siemian, and Clipboard Jesus, Charlie Whitehurst. Running backs, Arian Foster, Rashad Jennings, Eddie Lacy, Jeremy Langford, Doug Martin, Charles Sims, Jonathan Stewart, and Dwayne Washington. Wide receiver, Dez Bryant, Randall Cobb, Corey Coleman, Eric Decker, Stephon Diggs, Chris Hogan, Dante Moncrief, Steve Smith, and Kevin White. And then tight ends, Martellus Bennett, Jordan Cameron, Eric Ebron, Tyler Eifert, Rob Gronkowski, and Clive Wolford. I saw Tyler had to make a move right at the end of last week. So those are the injuries, and hopefully you don't see your name up there very much. And going on to the trophies, we do have a couple trophies to announce this week and a couple exchanging of the longitudinal trophies. So congratulations to Hauschka of Cards, Team Andrew, for a Touchdown King week. Had 10 touchdowns, and so that's the second time following Roger last week that we have a Touchdown King trophy awarded. And then our first one of these trophies given out this year, it goes to Roger. It's the Lucky Sevens trophy. He had exactly three players scoring 7 points. So we are going to give Roger that Lucky Sevens trophy. And that is it for the individual trophies. Moving on to longitudinal ones. Nathan is still in control of the Bomb trophy of 526 points on the season. Russell takes the dead fish back from David. Russell only having 383 points on the season. Andrew Page took the Superman Week trophy away from DeLadies. He scored 133 points this week. And then Austin took the Toilet trophy away from Russell by only scoring 49 points this week. So it's a new, pretty low there. But Russell still has the worst loss at 63 points loss. And Russell still has the most points against at 519, although Nathan is catching up on him. So now it's time to go to our special guest. It looks like he's calling in now. So let's see what's going on. Hello, who is this? Who's our special guest today?
What's going on? It's your boy. You already know who it is. Dak Lives Matter, BROhio show, special guest. I cannot tell you how excited I am. Thank you, Kyle, for putting me on the show this week. I've been a long time listener to the show. First time caller, as they say. Very excited. So let's get right into it.
Hey, Russell, how is it going? I was just looking, and it looks like you're 1-4 on the season. What are the struggles that you're having to deal with, and what's your plan moving forward at 1-4?
1-4, guys. That's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't really have an excuse for it. My scapegoat for why I thought I was gonna do so terrible this season is now gone, because as you know, the auto-drafted Demaryius Thomas debacle is basically non-existent, because he's been putting up double digits for me the past couple weeks, and he's looking really good. I'm eating my words pretty hard, because he's one of my best players right now, ironically, of course. So I can't blame him. So I think naturally my eyes kind of shift. If you've watched 5 minutes of a Texans game this season, you have to see Lamar Miller, Will Fuller, and the Texans D. The fact that I'm playing 3 freaking Texans on my team is just an absolute disaster. Lamar Miller, they take this guy 100 carries per game, and they send him straight up the middle every single time. Every single time he touches the ball, he goes straight up the freaking middle, and that's why he's averaging 0.2 yards per carry. I honestly believe you could strap a football to any living organism, and it would probably average more yards per carry if you just shoved it in there, just pushed it in there. It would average more yards per carry than Lamar Miller. I truly believe that. This guy, 0% of his potential is being utilized, and it's my biggest trigger watching him touch the ball and run. It's insane. Will Fuller, not really much better. Will Fuller, he himself is not the problem, because wide receivers can only be so good to a point where when they don't perform properly, it becomes the quarterback's fault, and that's exactly what the situation is. Will Fuller is so good, but the thing throwing to him is an actual flaming pile of garbage that costs basically an $80 million pile of burning garbage is throwing you know what? I don't even think I can use the word throwing for what Brock Osweiler is doing out there with the football. It's insulting to anyone who's ever thrown anything in their life. Basically, the only context I would ever use Brock Osweiler and throw in the same sentence is, Brock Osweiler threw that Texans game, because he does it every week. It's a joke. Texans D, basically, what do I say about this? They scored 1 single point That is one above zero for you math wizards out there. 1 point against Sam Bradford, Jerick McKinnon, and whatever that other freaking guy's name is. The Vikings offense? Are you kidding me? Like, what? It's the biggest joke, and it's my life. I'm living it. Is what it is, right? That's what the kids say, isn't it?
Oh man, yeah, you have had a rough time this season so far, but the reward for that is good waiver priority. What are you thinking about on the waivers this week? Do you have someone you're eyeing? Do you want to give it away? You don't have to. Tell me what's going on.
As far as waivers go this week, I'm basically just targeting a defense. I'm going to stream a defense probably for the foreseeable future, possibly for the rest of the season, because the Texans D, I just can't do it anymore. They have been so disappointing this season, and my eyes have been locked in a death glare on that single point. That was the final straw. I can't take it anymore. I'm streaming. That's it. So that's the one thing I'm thinking about this week. Other than that, I think this season, more so than any other, the waivers have just been, they've been insane. The free agents are so inconsistent. On any given week, it's like, who do you pick up, really? With all the running back committees, backup tight ends, third string wide receivers. If you have an injury, a bye week, or an underperformer, good luck. Take the piss, because that's all you can do. Just bend over and take it and enjoy it while you can, because it's not going to get better next week. Rob Gronkowski this week. I think probably everybody saw that. Martellus Bennett just blasting touchdowns and yards out of net. Yeah, hey, wait. I know what you're thinking, right? Who? Martellus Bennett, who? Put your thinking cap on real quick and listen carefully. Martellus Bennett. When was the last time you heard that name? Probably a lot of us 90s kids. I think the last time all that aired was probably the last time you heard Martellus Bennett's name in any sort of capacity related to football, because that dude dropped off the face of the planet like the dodo bird. For all you scientists out there, all you biologists out there, the dodo bird dropped off and then swooped in, which is ironic because dodo birds don't even fly, swooped in, took all of Rob Gronkowski's fantasy value, almost all of it. Really disgusting to watch, honestly. Sammy Coates, that was pretty filthy to watch. Any Dolphins running back, any Giants running back, yeah, that's a lot of fun to be a part of, right? So I'm 1-4. Who am I targeting on waivers at this point? I think I'm targeting anyone, honestly. I'm targeting people who don't play in the NFL. I could probably target, and they might have a higher ceiling than a lot of the waivers do. Tyler, the Zika virus, this past week, he said to me, I think I'd rather play Leonardo DiCaprio right now instead of, I don't remember who the player was, but he said it, and I chuckled a little bit, and he's like, wouldn't you rather play him? And I was like, well, yeah. Yeah, admittedly, yeah, I would. I would rather play Leonardo DiCaprio than probably any other freaking NFL player, because he's equally as qualified as most of the waiver pickups are. What are you going to do?
Okay, that sounds good. Final question for you today, Russell. Austin took the Toilet Week trophy from you. I thought it was going to be kind of hard for someone to get lower than 59, but Austin got 49. Do you have any kind words that you'd like to say to Austin?
Austin, dear Austin, thank you so much for taking the toilet trophy off my hands this week. I really appreciate it. And thank you especially. I don't know if you noticed this, but part of the reason you got the toilet trophy is because of my boy, John Brown. You went ahead, you did a real cute thing. And I'll admit, it was cute. It was adorable what you did. They should make a show about you called Austin's Do the Cutest Things, and they could just feature that for the entire half-hour show, because that was so cute of you to pick him up thinking that you knew something I didn't know after being burnt by him for weeks, drafting him way too early and just getting burnt by him. You picked him up thinking, oh, Russell doesn't know what he's doing. He's dropping a valuable player. Any day I'm going to pick him up and he's going to pop off. I'll show him. Well, guess what? Guess what? I showed you, Austin. Thank you very much. I think that's pretty appropriate justice right there. And you know what else I think is appropriate? Your team name is the Harambes. I took my little baby, my little baby boy, my little baby John Brown. I picked him up in the draft, you know. I put some loving on him. I loved him like a little baby, like the little baby boy he was. And I put him into my lineup time and time again. And he just disappointed me. He disappointed me, but he's still my little baby. And I was like, you know what? No, not my baby anymore. I dropped him. I dropped him off at the gorilla enclosure. And here you come, you little Harambe self, you little gorilla Harambe self. Mosey on up like, oh, look, a baby, little John Brown, little baby, he's my baby boy now. And you picked him up, and I put a bullet through your dome. That's right, Harambe. You got capped for a reason. You picked up my baby, so I blasted you.
So that was our interview today, and we're going to move right on into our matchup reviews. And our first matchup is Kyle versus Justin. And look at these projections, 98-81. I am not worried going into Thursday, going into Sunday, but for some reason, he gets all these great games. Amari Cooper scores 21 points for him, and even though Mike Nugent is his underperformer for the week, I have Graham Gano scoring 1 point, missing a field goal. That's only like 40 yards. So, and he was texting me, and I was like so mad. I just said roll tribe last night. I was not happy. I was not talking about football, let me tell you. Yeah, I had Luck and Hilton hitting that nice 35-yard catch at the end of the Colts game. And I thought I was solid as soon as that happened. But if you take a look at the frickin' girly show, and that's what his team is. It's just like a little girly show, like, oh, let's do our nails. Look at this. Carson Wentz, Amari Cooper, Greg Olsen, Curly and the Girly Show is disgusting. I can't even talk about this anymore. Anderson only put up 6 points. I could have had more with Parker, but after Olsen went off with the other Anderson, oh my gosh, I can't even talk about this. I should have won this week. That's all I'm going to say. Good game, Justin, though, because you're going to be losing coming up. And I think I face you again later, so it'll be a big comeback match, revenge match. But moving on, we have the Zika virus versus the fumbling fajitas. This game was two of the players that are kind of in the bottom four right now. So it was a chance for one of them to get a win, and that win went to the fumbling fajitas at 121 points, having Martellus Bennett kind of go off the hook, Larry Fitzgerald, and Adam Vinatieri. I can't tell you how pissed I was that the Colts weren't scoring, and I was just watching Vinatieri kick these 50-yard field goals over and over and over, while Graham Gano can't score a single point. Man. But anyways, good job to David. And I will give David a little punch here and say, you know, you got Tevin Coleman from me for Willie Snead. I thought I was getting a steal. And then Snead goes down. Snead has bye. Coleman goes crazy. And you sit him on your bench, and you could have had the Superman Week trophy. And I bet that trophy would have held out for the rest of the season because 18 points added to 121. You would have had to beat 139 to steal that Superman Week from you. But instead, Andrew Page has it. So fumbling fajitas get a big win. Tyler's team just must have had the Zika virus this week because they were terrible. Tyler played the best team possible and only got 71 points. He did have a lot of buys, so we'll give him that. But rough week for Tyler, and it goes back to the interview with the Leonardo thing. Not much you can do. Zach and Austin. Zach had a pretty easy week facing the worst scoring team of the season, worst week. Actually, you see the NA by Austin there. Darren Sproles only scored 6 points, but he had no one that scored their projection. Aaron Rodgers only scored 15, projected 17. Darren Sproles was the only one that got within 1 point of their projection. So that's why I put Sproles as his overperformer. He was just his best performer as compared to the ESPN predictions. AJ Green was the worst, only scoring 5 points. And Tyrell Williams sitting on the bench, 16 points. Could have prevented the toilet week, but could not have helped him get a win this week because Zach had David Johnson, Mike Evans going off, and DJ is going to be so good throughout the rest of the season. He's probably top 3 RB. So slippery soap getting his second win, and maybe can see the light with David Johnson moving forward. Russell versus Mary Lou and Sarah. We talked to Russell already. He's got the Texans D at 0 points, Will Fuller at 0 points, Lamar Miller at 2 points. Yeah, I mean, I can feel you a little bit because I have Hopkins who's been struggling this season, but those 3 players, 2-0-0. Like, oh man. So sorry to see Dak Lives Matter go up in flames. But Mary Lou and Sarah, congratulations on the win. Phillip Rivers putting up 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but 4 touchdowns, and probably has the one of the best running back duos here in our fantasy league. Odell got his first touchdown, and they made it through a week with 3 byes with a win. So that's a good week for the ladies. Moving on, we have Nathan versus Andrew. Nathan is still wiping all the Giselle off his face. Nathan and Giselle over his face because of the House of Cards. So Kevin Spacey just taking it out on Nathan this week. Even though Nathan had a 29-point Ben Roethlisberger, which is good with Cam Newton down, but Kyle Rudolph not doing it, Edelman not doing it, but a lot of his players are scoring well. But Nathan has been up against some tough competition the last couple weeks. He's on a 3-game losing streak, and now he's fighting with Russell for the Fighter Trophy. He's only like 6 or 7 points behind. House of Cards, Andrew, congratulations on the Sammy Coates. I did not play Sammy Coates in my other league. I had him. I thought that was a genius move. Well, I mean, at the time, I didn't think it was a good move, but it ended up working out for you. It shows that you deserve to be in the top like you have been in all the previous BROhio seasons. So your team's looking good. The Cincinnati Bengals D not looking too good against Dak Prescott, but defense is defense, and you scored 133. So Superman week to you, and great play. With Coates, Riddick, Elliott. It was awesome. And the last matchup of the week was Luke versus Roger, Central Time Zone, versus Get Graped. But Get Graped got graped this week with Ryan Tannehill only putting up 3 points versus Tom Brady, 29 points. That was really the difference maker this week. Howard did well for Luke, got 21 points, and Freeman did well for Roger at 17, but just looking down the line, Roger did get the 7s with Benjamin, Austin, and Lambeau, so at least he gets the Lucky 7s trophy out of it, but good win for Luke, keeps him at 4-1, ahead of the Gurley Show, as the only 2 teams at 4-1. So great matchups this week. And here are the current standings. We have Luke at the top, followed by Justin. They are our 4-1 teams. Andrew and me and DeLadies are the 3-2 teams. We have everyone else at 2-3, and then Dak Lives Matter at 1-4 with Russell. If you look at points for, we see Nathan on top with 526, and then Andrew with 491. So some high scoring teams that are just not getting the wins maybe will help them get into the playoffs as we go forward, and maybe the wins even out. Who knows? That could really make the difference. And then, like I was talking about earlier, Dak Lives Matter still has the most points against at 519, but Nathan at 511. And then another thing I'd like to point out, look at the Sandusky's Slippery Soap at only 380 points against. That's like, it's like they got a free week. They have so few points scored against them. But that is it for this week. My final thoughts. I am going to be requesting people to send some clips in for the mid-season special that I'm going to do in 2 weeks from now, after episode 7. And we'll do some like trade reviews and that kind of stuff. Try to have a fun little mid-season episode. It'll probably be a little longer. That is it for this week. Good luck on the waivers and have a great week 6.
Yeah, admittedly, I would. I would rather bend over and take it. I cannot tell you how excited I am. Austin, I put up Dodo straight up the middle through your adorable tight ends. Dak Lives Matter.